됐어요?
Oo. Hawan sa tabi. Yeah, baby.
Right. Melissa, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good.
How are you?
Not bad.
How is everybody?
Good.
Pretty good.
Good. Trying to get that unmute button.
Can you see my screen? My
Yes.
PowerPoint?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Oh, good. So we do have enough members for a quorum.
Yeah.
We're trying to pick a screen. Everybody's so tiny.
Ella, you gotta keep her quiet, babe.
Nice background, Dan.
Thanks. It's just a picture I grabbed. Some
Yeah.
park somewhere.
Oh, I thought it was one of the auto load
Hmm.
or meeting backgrounds.
It's kind of I don't know. It's like it's a little bit too fun.
Yeah.
Looking for backgrounds and changing backgrounds. It's,
Yeah.
it used to be a habit.
I just never bother.
No mask, though.
Right.
Want me to get mine, Nelson?
No. No, you look good just the way you are.
Geez, I'm have to tell my wife you said that. I don't know what her problem is.
Well, you're on your own there, but
Thanks, Nelson.
all right, it is 7:00. We can get started. Want to welcome everybody to the February 16th, 2021 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. We have 2 items of old business, and then we have 1 item of new business. And hopefully we could make quick work of all those items. And then we have the meeting minutes from the last minute meeting to address as well. So at this point, what we like to do is open up the meeting to what we call the open forum. This is comments or questions regarding the zoning board, how we function, anything that might be of interest to other than the board members, the public, to inquire of us. And it need not be on items that are on the agenda. Those will get addressed as we get to those particular applications. So I'm going to go ahead and open the open forum at this point, and we'll give a few minutes to see if there are any comments or inquiries. Melissa, you're at home?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed your assistant there, so.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not thinking that we're going to have any participants as far as the open forum. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and close the open forum at this point. Dennis Weekly, are you with us?
I'm with you.
Wonderful. Okay, you're the first item of business here.
Hooray.
And just to reiterate what you were asking us to look at was that you have an existing parcel that's separated by a road. There's actually two parcels that are comprised that one, and you're looking to subdivide that one parcel into the two.
Yes.
Okay. And I guess what that requires of us, because the two parcels are going to be considerably smaller than what is required for that zoning area. And I guess what we determined that the parcel to the north, which is the 172 Hillside Road parcel, is the one with the garage on it.
Right.
Okay. And then the one to the south at 156 is the one with the house.
Right.
Okay. And the requirement is that the minimum lot size are 43,560 feet. So the lot with the garage, it's going to require a variance of 34,960 feet. And the lot with the house is going to require 31,940 feet. Board members, we're all on the same page regarding this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the board members regarding what we're being asked to do here?
Not for me.
No.
Okay. So at this point then, I'm going to make a motion that we open the public hearing in regard to this matter.
Second.
Nelson,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Link,
Aye.
John.
Aye.
Approved.
So if there's anybody participating in the meeting here that has any questions or comments regarding this particular application, and if they were interested in weighing in, this is the time to do so. Okay. All right, it doesn't sound like there are any interest or is any interest in commenting on this application. So if somebody wants to make a motion to close the public hearing,
All right,
A motion that we close the public hearing for Dennis Weekly.
I'll
I have a
second.
second.
Dan,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Aye.
Link, Nelson,
aye.
Matt.
Aye.
Okay, so now what I want to do is run through the factors considered. The first being whether an undesirable change would be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties.
No.
No, no change in the neighborhood.
No, and again, in good part, you know, these lots were established at these, you know, undersized, as undersized parcels, and there are other parcels existing that are comparable in size, so that it's, wouldn't be anything significantly unique. The next would, whether the benefits sought by the applicant be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance.
No.
No.
Well, it's not entirely clear to me what the benefit is, other than splitting ownership that doesn't need to be split.
Well, Dennis, my understanding is that you're doing this to settle an estate?
Yep.
Okay. So I assume that you would retain ownership of one of the parcels and then either another family member or would
Yeah.
assume
brother.
possession.
Yeah, I'm taking the house and my brother's taking the garage.
Okay, all right. Next in the factors, whether the requested variance is substantial.
Very much so.
Yes. Would the variance have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood?
No.
No.
No. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created?
No.
Well, his parents created it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
They also created Dennis.
Well,
Sorry, Dennis.
That's okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to do then, unless we have any other comments or concerns, is I'm going to make a motion regarding the variances with these two parcels.
do we know how old these structures are? Like when they were built?
Geez, the garage might have been 20 years ago, but the house, I have no idea. The house was a camp years ago. I mean, I could find out how the house,
No, I-
how old the house is by the deed, but I haven't got it in front of me.
That's just basic out of curiosity, correct, Jonathan?
I'm still, we never quite satisfied. If the garage was only built 20 years ago, I'm thinking they must have needed a variance to build it.
I don't know.
Could have been, but again, that kind of was before, this came to us. And like I say, those lots
Yeah.
had been created prior to what is now required as lot size, so. All right, so what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna go ahead and make this, the motion, make a motion to grant Dennis Weekly of 8115 Londonderry Road, Schenectady, New York, 12305, SBL 35.06-2-481, located at 156 Hillside Road, Patterson, New York, 12137. An area variance for what we're going to consider, I guess, the lot 1 or lot 156 Hillside, an area variance of 31,940 feet. And for the second lot, which would be a lot 172 Hillside Road, an area variance of 34,960 square feet. The two lots being separated by a road, and this would be for the purpose of subdividing the existing parcel into two.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
Nelson,
Aye.
Blank,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
John,
No.
Matt.
Aye.
Okay.
Approved.
All right, so we have 4 ayes and 1 nay.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's still enough of a majority that the motion passes. Okay, so Dennis, you're all set?
So do I have to pick up paperwork from the building inspector to take to the lawyer?
Well, I think you're gonna ultimately want to get paperwork, regarding the variances that we've approved. I assume they're gonna end up, assigning new lot info for each parcel. I mean, ultimately, you're going to need this, yes. I mean, you're not intending to do any building or anything. This, my understanding again, was just for the purpose of subdivision.
That's all all my intentions are, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think your lawyer's gonna need to contact the assessor to split the lots into separate parcels.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I didn't know where I went from you guys. So, I'll go to Mr. Callahan and have him take care of it then.
Yeah, he'll obviously he'll know what to do next, but again, this would be, part of what you're trying to do here, and to be able to actually have the subdivision go through, it was necessary to get the variances for the lots.
Yeah, I've never done this before. That's why I'm
Did you?
asking questions.
Did you already get approval from the planning board? Because I think you have to go back in front of the planning board to get approval of the subdivisions.
I thought
don't
that's who
This is the zoning board. So you're at the planning board and then they referred you to the zoning board to get the area variances. Now you can go to the planning board and get your subdivision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I don't believe it was a motion to approve a subdivision there yet, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so he's got to go back and planning. You gotta go back in front of the planning board.
Okay,
And that'll be next month's meeting.
all right. Dennis, had you approached the planning board first?
I'm totally confused. What's the zoning board and the planning board?
Okay, well, the zoning board, we deal with kind of the exceptions to the rule.
Okay,
So normally, if it were just a straight up subdivision, you would approach the planning board first. But it sounds like, I guess when Dale saw this, he recognized that you would need, again, the exception to the rule, basically the lot size being different than what is normally required. And that's why he sent you to us first.
oh, I was confused of who I went to first. Sorry.
Well, no, actually, you would have had to come to us first anyway.
Mhm.
And I think Dale probably recognized that and just figured, you could come straight to us. That way you could take this to the planning board and they won't send it back to us. This was the correct first step.
Gotcha.
Okay, but you'll need this paperwork to do so when you approach the planning board.
Okay, so I'm gonna approach the planning board back at the town hall again. I'm gonna fill out another application.
A subdivision application.
Okay,
Yep.
So
So if
the-
you just come see me tomorrow
okay,
or anytime this week, I'm there. And then I'll give you a subdivision application. And then you'll just fill that out and then it'll be March.
okay. So I'll probably see you tomorrow then. You're there after what, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock?
Yeah. Yep, after 8.
Oh, okay, so I'll see you tomorrow then.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, and again, you can consult your attorney too, because
Yeah.
he would have told you the same, but that would,
All right, I'll
again,
talk to him. I'll talk to him tomorrow too.
yeah, that would be highly recommended. No.
Okay,
So as far as we're concerned, you're all set with us then.
thank you guys so much.
Okay,
All right, good night.
good night. All right. It's out of the way. Okay. John and Michelle Sislo, you're with us?
We are.
Okay. And just to reiterate again, what you're looking to do, you have a lakeside lot on Shore Road. And you're looking to basically attach a larger garage to the existing structure.
Correct.
Okay. And I think the concern was that the garage was going to be closer to the side property line than what is normally allowed. So you were looking for a variance for that.
Correct.
Okay. See. So one thing I don't know if we had, to what degree we had addressed this. You had a recent survey done
Yes.
and there was a slight discrepancy with what was thought the existing property line and then what was determined by the survey to be the existing property line.
Yeah, this is just a progress print. We have not gotten the final print yet.
Okay. So now as it stands, because this is a pre-existing undersized lot, we would prorate the setback requirements based on, you know, what the existing width of the property is.
Yes,
And so what we determined that what normally is required is 175 feet. You've got about 100 feet. And then if we applied that kind of fraction to the 40-yard or 40-foot required setback, it actually becomes 23 feet that you would need on either side. This makes sense?
yes,
Okay. Board members, do you recall this is what we had discussed?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay,
Numbers written, but yes.
okay. So the side that we're looking at, which would be the east side, I guess we're figuring that the property line is like 15 feet.
yes.
Correct.
Should probably use the 14.5 just to be safe, or 14.5. Since they have both numbers on there.
Okay. Well, I guess for the sake of the half a foot, I think I just as soon stick with the 15. Again, it may be subject to change anyway.
Well, but if we're granting him a variance, why don't we go with the 14 and just be safe in case it comes out to the lower number?
Okay, all right. So then the difference between the 14 and the required 23 would be a 9-foot variance. Is that, we're all on the same page with that then?
yes.
Yes.
And if you look at the west side, you know, it's close, but it does, it's larger than the 23-foot because it would be 23 from either side of the structure. Okay, so. And then the attached garage is going to be set back 40 feet, which meets that front yard setback.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so at this point, if somebody wants to make a motion to open the public hearing in regard to this matter,
And I will move that we open the public hearing in regard to John and Michelle Cisco, east side setback variance at 35.09-1-20.
I'll second.
okay, thank you. We'll give a
John?
minute or two.
Matt,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye,
Dan,
Aye,
Link.
Aye.
and again, we'll give her a minute or two to see if anybody is going to be weighing in. All right, given that there's only the 8 participants, I'm going to make a motion that we go ahead and close the public hearing in regard to this matter.
second,
Thank you.
Nelson,
Aye,
Link,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Dan.
aye,
okay, so I'm going to start going through the factors to be considered. The first being whether an undesirable change would be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties,
No,
No,
whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance,
no,
not really.
whether the requested variance is substantial,
So we found the 20, so it's 9 out of 23 is what we
Right.
came up with in the end. In that case, it's less than half, and under our standards, no.
okay?
Right.
Would the variance have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood?
no,
Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created?
yes,
More than always.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to grant John and Michelle Sislo of 19 Mapleview Road, Wallingford, Connecticut, SBL 35.09-1-20, located at 337 Shore Road, Patterson, New York, 12137, and east side setback variance of 9 feet on a pre-existing undersized lot to construct a 26 by 30 foot one-story attached garage.
second,
So did they get the building permit within 6 months or whatever the,
You're correct, yeah.
Nelson,
I,
Dan,
aye,
Link,
Aye.
John,
aye.
Matt,
Aye.
approved.
okay, you're all set?
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, and again, you'll need to see Melissa to get a building permit so you can continue with the construction.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay,
Have a good night.
yep, you too. Let's get this out of my way. Okay, Don and Teresa Weber, you're with us?
Yes, we are.
Okay, if you want to just give us an idea of what you're looking to do?
We have an existing garage on the property. Now that we're here full time, we need a garage to put our car into. As you know, the weather around here is not the best. Our neighbor just so happens to be getting a variance at the same time we are, John Sislo. And my existing garage is currently on his property line. Matter of fact, it's on his property by a small amount in the back. That's how we bought the property. Whoever owned it before us split it up this way for who knows what reason. But in any case, we want to move our garage off the property, off his property, and enlarge it. But we need a variance in order to do so. The garage we currently have is quite small. It barely fits a very small sports car.
Yeah,
here to the west of the Sislos.
Yes.
so looking at the proposed garage, obviously you're going to remove that existing garage structure.
Yeah, we're gonna demo it and remove the concrete foundation that's in there and dispose
Okay.
of the whole thing and start over again. It's just not worth it to work with that, I don't believe.
Okay. So, and you're looking to erect a 24 by 24 garage?
Correct. One
Okay.
story.
So now its placement, it looks like you're only going to be 2 feet from the existing property line?
Well, that's what we're trying to get. We didn't want to build the garage directly in front of our building. It would block all of the windows and possibly our front door. This is basically the only spot I believe I could choose from.
Okay. And then it's also only going to be 20 feet from the front property line.
Correct.
Okay.
As existing.
That's where the existing garage is.
Right. So board members we're seeing the same thing regarding the requested placement of the garage?
Yes.
Mhm. Yes.
Is the house exactly centered in the lot?
It's not exactly centered. We had a culvert on the east side, which we had to work around.
West side, the west side.
West side, sorry.
You'll see that on the survey.
So basically our culvert helps out the whole area here for not flooding.
Yeah, we couldn't lose, we
Couldn't move
couldn't
it.
use that, the west side of the property because of the existing culvert stream, water.
And your
Thank
well is
you.
also over there, is that correct?
Our well is on the opposite side.
Yeah, our well would be on the west side in front of the house, yes.
Yeah.
Another aspect here, the city doesn't plow our road, basically. We plow the road ourselves, so there's no reason for a big truck to come through anytime.
Well, the only thing I'm just seeing that 2 foot is pretty darn close to the existing property line. If you could possibly move it over maybe like 3 feet, that would be something that we could probably work with.
It is an improvement over the current placement, which is actually beyond the property.
Yes,
That was the idea, was to get it off the neighbor's property. I mean, that would be a thorn in my side too. Rather than just enlarge or build off one side of the garage, why not just get it off their property and put it where it should be, which is on ours?
yeah.
We've actually spoken to our neighbor and he's in agreement of what's on paper right now.
Okay. And again, also because this is an existing undersized lot, so the, again,
But this one isn't attached, so we can't use the residential exception. I think that only applies to a residence, and we could do with it a garage.
I see what you're
attached
saying.
Because it's part of the residence.
All right, just, yeah, let me look at that real quick.
So just so I'm understanding these numbers correctly, the garage will be 24 feet wide. And you have 25 feet between the property line and your house. Is that correct?
Correct. We're going to be going in front of the existing building about a foot.
No, a couple feet. You'd have a walkway, a couple feet.
There'll be a walkway between the two. If it helps to get the variance, I can attach it to the building. It's actually a nice idea, quite frankly. But I didn't want to go,
Well, all utilities are on that side of the house, so we'd have to move all the utilities off the building, but it is what it is.
Well, would that depend on how far back you set the garage, correct?
correct. We need that little walkway through there to access the yard. I think it's a nice accent to the property.
I see.
Yeah, and when I see the property that, like the peak of the existing house, the garage obviously is definitely to, I guess would be to the right. But the thought was if you could move it over a little bit, so maybe we had like 5 feet between the garage and the property line. Again, because I can understand not wanting to put a garage right in front of it. I mean,
Right.
The curbside value, look is not good.
We have a double casement window right in that corner area.
If we do,
So if we did 4 feet,
we don't have to seal up
Work.
windows.
we could do that.
Okay.
with
Well,
4 feet.
We're willing to work with you.
okay. So how far, I'm just thinking if you could at least get 5 feet from that property line, again, it wouldn't encroach too much on the front of the house itself. And I did see it would still leave area for your walkway.
Well, what's happening here is in that corner of the building, there's double casement windows. Each one's 36 inch each, so it's a 6 foot wide window. As a matter of fact, the one right here in the background you're looking at right now, we'd have to seal up half of it.
Well, you wouldn't have to seal it up if you have a walkway here. You would just have a building in front of your window.
Right. We'd be basically looking at the back of the building, but
Well, right, at least that one window would.
Yeah.
The 4 feet off the property line, we measured it out, would keep the edge of the garage just next to the beginning of where the window is, the first window in the house. With 5 feet, we're in front of the window.
aesthetically speaking.
Okay, so. Again, I'm just thinking if, I would like to see at least 5 feet between the garage and the property line.
I guess we gotta do what we gotta do.
If that's what it takes for us to get this beautiful garage, then we're fine with that.
Okay, it just, because it would be a pretty substantial, as it still will be, variance request.
I might just decide to maybe take a couple of feet off the width of the garage perhaps. I have to measure my pickup truck and my wife's car to make
If we
sure.
can get 5,
it
I
would
think we
work.
can do it.
So I think 5 is the way to go right now, whether we make it smaller or not.
Okay,
You could probably trim a foot off the size of the garage and just not have as much space between the garage doors and the
True.
sides.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Or we can have a big yard sale and sell everything that's going to go into it.
well, actually 24 feet for a 2-car garage, because that's what I have, and it's just enough.
Yeah,
You know,
you like to feel safe about opening the door.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's why we're looking for the 24, technically speaking.
Yeah, so basically you'd be able to drive right into it from the street.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, so again, if we could get that 2 foot from the property line to 5,
Okay,
Agreed.
again, it
Agreed.
would just mean it would have to be shifted over 3 feet. Jonathan, what do you think?
Either way, I mean, I was good with it as it was. Just because comparing to what's already there, I thought it was an improvement as originally proposed.
We do keep a wooded area on the property line also to add a nice effect.
Again, just, because I don't know how, these property lines are relatively precise, but again, 2 feet is a little, I think the 5 just gives us a little, kind of slop factor.
Nelson,
then
would you be comfortable with 4?
That's what we're
Very-
comfortable with, yes.
yes, 4 is perfect.
It's just gonna ruin the architecture for the building, I think.
All right, so, I mean, I guess if there's a feeling from the other board members to go to 4, are we comfortable with that?
Yeah,
I would be,
Think
four
so.
makes me happy.
Okay,
Doesn't bother me.
all right. Matt, what do you think?
I would agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Jonathan too. I think 2 inside the property line is an improvement for sure.
It-
so.
Well, it is, but again,
But yes, I understand the point. there.
okay. So, yeah, I want to, so this is basically an accessory building. Jonathan, is what you're thinking, and it doesn't,
that's what it sounds like, yeah.
okay. So it wouldn't necessarily comply. Well, I want to do some research on that to make sure. Because then we can actually determine, you know, again, if it qualifies for the reduced lot setback, then we're down to the 23. And then if we have 4, then we're only being asked to grant a 19-foot variance. So, or it's going to be a 36-foot variance, depending on if it does not qualify. Are you following me there?
No.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I'm talking to the other board members, so
Yes.
we,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay. But we're basically in agreement that the 4-foot, everybody's comfortable with.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And then the other being, it's gonna need a 20-foot front yard setback.
Do we know if it already has one? From when the garage was built, the old garage?
It may very well have.
I mean, it may be pre-existing, but there may already be a front yard variance on this.
Right, but this,
So they gotta start over?
yeah, and I think that, yeah, if it were maintained on the same footprint, well, then it wouldn't be an issue, probably. You know, had there been a variance granted prior, but I think at this point, because it's gonna be new construction, then we should address the front yard setback.
Makes sense.
Okay. Let me see, I don't think we've got everything else that we do would require. So we're in agreement upon the dimensions. Again, the 4-foot side yard variance or 4-foot from the property line. And again, depending on whether it's going to be the prorated or not, it's either going to be a 19-foot or a 36-foot, and then a 20-foot setback. We're all in agreement with that?
Yes.
Okay. So other than that, if somebody wants to make a motion to grant us lead agent for the purpose of seeker,
Yep, I will move that we declare ourselves lead agent for the Donald Weber application 3509-1-19
and I'll second
for
that.
the purposes of seeker State Environmental Quality Review Act.
All right, well, okay. So, and again, I seconded, so if others want to weigh in,
John,
Aye.
Nelson,
aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Link.
Aye.
Approved.
Okay. So there, and as a result, that the ZBA determines that this request for a grant of an individual setback lot line variance is an exempt type 2 action pursuant to Title 6 NYCRR Section 671.5C 12 or 13, and that no further action pursuant to SECRA is required.
I need a second.
I'll second that if we need one.
Yeah,
Nelson,
aye.
John,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Link.
Aye.
Approved.
Okay, so other than that, if somebody wants to make a motion to set a public hearing,
March 16.
yeah.
All right, can we combine this in one motion or do we need one for each?
No, you can, one motion.
Okay,
Again-
I will move that we set a public hearing for Donald Weber, 319 South Shore Road, SBL 35.09-1-19, for the purposes of granting a 20-foot front yard variance. And we'll go with a 36-foot east side yard variance for the purposes of the construction of a one-story garage. Said hearing to take place March 15th, 7 p.m.
I think it's 16th, is it not?
16.
16th, you're right, yeah.
Okay.
It'll be 1 month from today.
Yes.
I'll second it.
John,
Aye.
Link,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Matt.
Aye.
Approved.
Okay. All right, so folks, you're all set, and we'll see you in March, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you very much.
you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Night.
Night. Board members, do you guys, you're getting our emails?
Yes.
Okay, and you got the emails, because I'd sent like a suggested public hearing motion format as an attachment.
I'll have to look for that, Nelson. Don't remember seeing that.
Okay.
Don't believe I received that, actually. But,
I haven't logged on to my town email in the last couple of weeks.
Okay, because I sent it as an attachment as a PDF, because again, we talked about not having a suggested motion. I did come up with one, so if it's in your emails. In fact, Jonathan, I asked you if you would look at it and if you thought that it needed some kind of revision to, make a recommendation, that's all.
Yeah, no, I'll get there. I've been very busy and have not had a chance to check the, I assume it's in the town email.
Yeah, yes, it's,
Yeah.
everybody should be getting their stuff via town
Yeah.
email now, because
Right.
again,
Yeah.
that's what we've been
Haven't been
intending
on
to
that
do.
account lately.
Okay. The other thing too is we do need to kind of a heads up as to whether you're going to be able to participate, because it's important that we have at least 4 members, for the purposes of conducting a legal meeting. We have to have a quorum. So that's kind of why we need you to just say, I'll be there or not. Other than that, I also sent in the email a couple of links regarding Schenectady County has the property info, based on the SBL numbers.
I got it.
you can also look at potential like deed, information, that kind of stuff. If for something that would come up that would require that we'd have to do that kind of investigation. So I also put a link in for the previous zoning ordinance. Because last meeting, was Anthony Canastrocki had a page out of the zoning ordinance that was from the previous ordinance, and that wouldn't apply this time, because I went back and looked, because it didn't look familiar to me. So again, the ordinance that we're dealing with now is the one from 2015. The previous zoning ordinance, it was from 2001. So, and there are some slight variations, but 2015 is the one that we go by as we speak. So anyway, other than that, and this is something I was thinking about from the training, the zoning board has the authority to make a determination, as to whether, and a particular action is a type 2 or not. And it's what I'm not thinking, that we don't necessarily have to declare ourselves lead agent if we're the only body involved, if that makes sense.
Right.
It's not that there's
Yeah, I'm
anything
not
wrong
sure.
with us doing that, but it's not as required, I think, legally, because if we're the only ones involved and we have the authority to make a determination for the particular action, we could just say we determine it and it be done so. Because I noticed, I don't think the planning board does that per se, unless they are encountering something that requires more than one, governmental body, as far as like a seeker review. And then they would have to declare themselves or acknowledge that somebody else would be the lead agent. But anyway, we could look that up. It's just a matter of fine tuning how we, do what we're doing here.
So we could just ask Teresa that.
Yeah, we could. But again, you're right. We could do that. But at least what I garnered from, I did that seeker training. And again, we have the authority to make that designation, and we don't have to really, again, acknowledge that we are the lead agent unless there's going to be somebody else involved. So,
Right. No, I'm sure that's correct. And if there were any other agents, they could always contest and say, and declare themselves lead agent. And then there's a process,
right. Yeah.
if people want to fight over it, but I don't
Right.
think that happens too often with, side yard variances. So.
No, it's, in fact, I think the next time I'll send out that there's a listing of like type 2 actions, which are primarily the ones that we deal with the most. I think it's the type 1, and then I think there's and I can't think of the name. It's like undesignated or something for other actions that aren't listed that would require like a more significant seeker review. So, but, for what we do, it's pretty much straightforward. Other than that, the meeting minutes from last time. I mean, the one thing I did note in the open forum statement, where I had mentioned about the planning board doing conducting a public hearing for the comprehensive plan. Okay, because it was listed as compressive, so it should read comprehensive.
That's a planning board function, not a town board function?
No, actually, and that, it is somewhat it was assigned to the planning board.
Okay, they sound.
The town board does have its, you know, I guess, part of that. But as far as drafting the initial recommendations to the comprehensive plan, I guess the planning board was tasked. And of course, they expanded the committee to, I think, Jonathan, you were part of it at one time, as I was, you know, it's their discretion, but they're the ones that would, and what they did was hold a public hearing in regard to that. And I guess there's going to be another public hearing conducted by the town board once they get to the point of actually adopting it. That's their part of it. The other thing, Melissa, in the motion for Kevin Novak, he was the one up on Miller's Corners Road.
Yeah.
And what was mentioned was he wanted to construct a pole barn. And I mentioned the condition on maintaining the physical, it says on the integrity of the Chapman Cemetery, but I wanted to put the word physical integrity, basically that it physically remains intact. And I think Chapman has an A in it instead of an N. It just,
I Googled it.
so it is
I took
EN?
it, yeah, I took it, or I didn't Google it. I took it right off of their cemetery thing.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
And the only other thing on the last page, in the minutes approval for the prior minutes, with one minor correction and minor, the spelling needs to be, should be MINOR instead of ER. I mean, it's a small thing, but
No, that's fine. Spell check.
yeah, well, that's the thing. It's has a mind of its own, you know. Anything else in the minutes worth noting?
If you're looking for a little bit of legalese, I don't know if that's the right term, language, you might say preserve the physical integrity on the cemetery.
Okay,
If you're throwing in preservation language, that,
okay, yeah,
brings up the relevant laws, essentially.
yeah. I may have used that language when I did the
Yeah,
under the findings, because it more or less to state one of the conditions, but
mhm.
if we wanted to read, correctly in the minutes as well, I think that's worth doing. So. Okay. Yeah, and then the other thing too is the cemeteries of the Chapman family. This, I think, was mentioned by the Mark Weinhammer regarding when, as part of the public hearing for that application, and he mentioned is of the Chapman family and is part of the town's history listed in the Foot Cemetery, and census should be CNSUS, if that was the correct word. Other than that, that's all I had seen worth noting. If there's no other corrections, then somebody could make a motion to accept the meetings with what we had noted.
I'll make a motion to accept the January minutes with the annotations as noted and discussed. Otherwise, as written.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Dan.
Aye.
Link,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
approved.
So other than that, again, if you could just, check your emails. Like I say, because, I start getting concerned that we won't have enough for a quorum because then we can't legally hold a meeting. So it is kind of important that you just, I can't be there. I got something else going on. Or if you're going to be in attendance, then it just,
Nelson, I wasn't actually sure until today, so that's why I didn't.
okay, that's fine. But, and again, you can always call me on my cell if something does come up and you're not going to be able to participate. So, but any other comments? Matt, this is making sense to you?
Yes, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, good.
And I do see the attachment in the email too, which I overlooked, so I appreciate that, Nelson.
Yeah, well, it came up. Daniel had mentioned that,
Mhm.
we didn't have a guide, and I think Jonathan was the only one that knew it, better than the rest of us. So, and what I have found, with those motion sheets, I'll write them out ahead of time. So I'm not trying to fill in the information, and you could do that too, just so, again, if you're tasked to actually make a motion, so again, you get more familiar with it. And again, just so there's a certain amount of efficiency is the way we go about doing this.
So with that in mind, it'd be helpful to have 2 or 3 copies in the folder, in the notebook. Like a master copy and then maybe just a couple of paper copies to write in.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. I save them as PDFs and then I'll print them out individually for each application that way. So, right, maybe we could make that available, via the email. So it's not necessary. I assume everybody's got a printer at home or,
Sure.
okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, again, if you print out a couple, then you have a couple on hand. And like I say, for me, if I write out exactly what I want to say in the motion, it makes it easier to do than trying to, fumble with it. So, but other than that, I'll leave it up to somebody else to end the meeting if they choose to do so.
I will move that we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All righty.
Thanks, Jonathan.
All right. So has everybody been doing a lot of Zoom as of late?
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Are
to.
you on mute?
Yeah, hey, I gotta do a roll call. Todd,
Zoom
Oh,
and
okay,
Teams and
yes.
Skype.
Link,
Aye.
Matt.
Aye.
John. Or Nelson,
I,
and who am I? Dan,
Aye.
approved.
okay.
Work uses WebEx, which I think they find more secure than Zoom.
Yeah. But for me lately, it's been the world according to Zoom. You know, it just, but it is what it is for right now. All right, so we're good to go. And again, we'll hope to see everybody in March then.
Not going anywhere.
That's an understatement. All right, thanks.
Right.
Have a
Good night.
night.